Out of kindness, I took in a poor campus belle.
Her first words after walking in to be an order.
陆晨三的林宇选 60,000 yuan every month.
Otherwise, I won't accept your support.
At that moment, I
Su
knew Wanqing had
in our last
also
life
been poured
Reborn.
money and resources into making
Yet she
her
thought
the
she had been
richest
born to be a
woman
powerful
alive.
CEO.
Then she looked down on me
I'm
and
giving you
threatened.
one last chance.
Miss it, and begging won't save you. Uncle Fu, freeze
and
her
buy
card.
her a comfortable pillow so she can be the richest woman in her dreams.
Young master, Lu Chen, you'll regret
What are you
this.
doing? I'm giving you one more chance.
Send 60,000 yuan a month to this
Why
account.
should I pay his living expenses? I'm not his father. It's only 60,000 yuan. 30,000 can't even buy one of my bags. See this? A top luxury limited edition.
Su Wanqing,
Just
did
last
you forget?
month in the cafeteria,
You
were secretly stuffing buns into
You're
your
lying.
bag. Am
Then
I? Tell me how much that bag cost. It's a Birkin.
300,000. My dad brought it from France.
Your bag has plastic hardware, crooked stitching, and sells online for 500 yuan
What do
with
you
free
know?
shipping. 30,000 for a bag?
Su Wanqing, are you dreaming?
Before I supported you, you couldn't even afford a 10 yuan lunch.
Young Master Liu,
30,000 may be nothing to you.
That's a month's living expenses for Wang Qing
Your
and
family
me.
is so rich.
Shouldn't you help us?
Do you really have to humiliate us like this?
Su Wanqing, from now on,
Even if we end up begging on the street, never throw away your dignity and beg him for me. If you won't give him money, then I don't want your support either.
Su
If you have any
Wanqing,
pride, pay back every cent of my money you've spent.
800,000 in total.
In
800,000?
10 years, I'll pay you 8 million. But Lu Chen,
Listen carefully. You get one chance. Miss it, and even kneeling won't help.
Lu Chen, what did she ever do to you?
She used to be so well behaved.
She kept her head
and
down
always
around
spoke softly.
everyone.
Now she's like a completely
Drive to the
different
hospital.
person.
What for? Jianle's mother was beaten into the
Take
hospital
a cab
by
back.
debt collectors.
Driver. Just then, Su Wanqing and Lin
And
Yuxuan
stopped
ran
Lin
beside the
Yuxuan
car,
climbed straight
leaving
in.
Su Wanqing
I
outside.
sat
in the back.
The driver
without a
instantly
word.
understood. He pulled out his phone and called the
Police?
2 lunatics just broke into my car.
They damaged the leather
and
seats.
terrified my young master.
I've restrained
them. Please send officers
Do you know who I am?
If you delay my business,
Can you
bear the consequences?
Lu Chen, are you just going to watch?
Tell
Su
your man
Wanqing
this
to
is my
open the
car,
door.
and he's my family's
You
driver.
barged
in without even asking
and started
ordering
Lu
my
Chen,
people around.
I can accept your
but
support.
don't imagine I'll ever like you. Are you seriously insane?
I'd rather date the ugliest woman
Lu
alive
Chen,
than you.
These two clearly have
Send them
mental
straight to a
problems.
hospital.
Going to the hospital?
Yes, take us there now.
Then get in.
I'll take you.
You've been warned. The number you have dialed is powered
Lu
off.
Chen,
how dare you?
3,000 yuan
for observation.
Sign here.
3,000.
Lin Yuxuan froze at the payment
Since
slip.
he and Su Wanqing
For the
had
bill,
no money,
the
police took them back
Tell
to the
me,
station.
what did you do?
We did nothing. They locked us in there and wouldn't let us out.
Nothing?
Then why did I hear you told the nurse
The future
you were
richest
woman and would build a new psychiatric
You even said
hospital?
you'd donate
100 million.
100 million?
Where would you get that?
I'll have it
You
someday.
can't even pay a 3,000
And you're
yuan
talking about
observation fee
someday.
now.
You used
Su
to be
Wanqing,
such a good
How
student.
did it come
to
like
you?
this? I'm giving you one
Go
last
back.
chance.
Study hard
Do
and
this
stop
again.
causing trouble.
And no one can
Lu
save
Chen,
you. Just you wait.
The Maybach's brakes
Gave a faint squeal as it stopped at the city hospital's
The
emergency
door
entrance.
opened.
The smell of disinfectant
And
mixed
rushed
with
into
the
my
cold
nose.
night air
Stepped out
and buttoned my suit jacket. The emergency hall
Families were
was chaotic.
crying.
Gurney wheels rattled.
And
machines beeped into one ugly roar.
But the loudest sound was an arrogant curse.
No money.
Then your mother
Isn't leaving this ER today. I followed the voice. Beside the benches outside
4
the
or
5
5
tattooed
their bald
thugs
leader
stood
raised
in a
his
circle
foot
and kicked a skinny young man in the chest.
The boy wore a faded plaid shirt
and stubbornly blocked the
kick
ER
was
door.
brutal.
He grunted and slammed back into
With
the
a
metal
dull
door.
bang, but he did not move aside.
Both hands clung
Blood
to the
seeping
door
from
frame.
under his
That was
nails.
Xianlei. Last life, he needed
To
just
help
3
me dominate
years. The Southeast Asian
I
market
walked
with
toward
his
them.
technology.
My
dress shoes struck the cheap marble
With a heavy
tiles.
rhythm.
4 bodyguards in black suits
Followed silently behind me.
The bald man was still
He
cursing.
raised his baseball bat.
For a second blow,
Xianlei
stared at him with bloodshot
like a wolf
eyes.
cub guarding
The
its
bat
mother.
came down with a whistle, but it never landed.
A large
Clamped
hand in a
tightly around the
tactical
bald
man's
man's
wrist.
Captain of my bodyguards.
What gang are you with?
How
What the
dare
hell?
you interfere
The bald
in my
man's
business?
face
He struggled
turned red.
twice, but could not
Ugly
break
said
free. He
nothing.
simply
A
twisted
crisp
his wrist.
crack of dislocated
Cut clearly
bone.
through the noisy hallway. Ah, the bald man screamed.
The bat clattered to the floor.
I walked up without even
Took a
looking at him.
disinfecting
wipe from my pocket and cleaned my hands.
The hallway went
The remaining
silent.
tattooed thugs
Looked
at Agui and the others.
but none dared step
Who
forward.
the hell are you? The bald man clutched his
Gritting
twisted
his
wrist.
teeth.
Debts have to be paid. Jianle's mother owes me 300,000. I
That
almost
little
laughed.
money could kill a future
Worth
tech
tens
titan.
of
I
billions.
tilted my head.
Uncle Fu, Yes, young master.
Calculate what you
Uncle
really
Fu
owes.
pulled a document from his briefcase.
His voice did not
The loan
waver.
principal is
The illegal
100,000
interest
Under
is void.
Chinese law, anything above 4 times the LPR
You also
is not
assaulted
protected,
Mr.
causing
Jianle,
soft tissue
which
injuries.
constitutes intentional
You caused
harm
a
in
disturbance
seriously
in a
disrupting
hospital.
public order.
Uncle Fu adjusted his
and handed over a
I am
business
chief
card.
legal counsel for the
My
Lu
legal
Group.
team will handle
All civil claims. You
and
are looking
criminal
at least
proceedings.
3
The bald
years in
man
prison.
froze.
He looked at the gold lettering on
Then
the
at the
card.
bodyguards beside us built
His
like
arrogance
towers
was doused in an instant. Cold sweat covered his forehead.
Lu, the Lu Group?
His voice
He
trembled.
swallowed
city,
hard.
no one
Claimed
dared.
they did not know the Lu
What?
Group.
I
3
looked at him.
years
My
isn't
tone
enough?
perfectly
No,
calm.
no, it's a
Just a
misunderstanding, young
His
Master
legs went
Lu.
He nearly knelt.
Forget the principal. We'll pay the medical
We'll
bills.
leave now. Clean the floor first. I pointed at the dirty footprints.
Without
he
a
had
word,
left.
the bald man took off his
Knelt
jacket.
down and started wiping.
He cleaned better than
In
the
less than
hospital
half
staff.
a minute,
The thug scrambled
and vanished
away.
down the hall.
I turned to Jianle.
He slid down the metal door to the floor,
Gasping for breath.
His clothes were torn,
One cheekbone
and his eyes
swollen,
stayed locked
full
on
of
me.
deep suspicion.
Lu
Third
I
year
introduced
finance
myself.
major.
Jianle
Searching
paused.
his memory for the name.
Why did you help me? His voice was hoarse,
As if scraped with
to invest
sandpaper.
in you.
I did
I
not
tossed him
waste
a card.
time.
The pin is
There's
6
1
zeros.
million yuan
Use
on it.
300,000.
Use the rest
to
for
clear
your
the
mother's
debt
surgery.
and
Move her to a VIP
Jianle
room.
stared at the black card
His
on the
pupils
marble floor.
did not take
I have
it.
nothing. What could you possibly want from me?
I sat down until our
I want
eyes
what's
were
inside your
level.
head. I hear you've been writing.
A decentralized data scraping
Jianle's
algorithm.
whole
His
body
expression
jolted.
She had
Changed
written
instantly.
that algorithm.
It was
in
not
secret.
even
No one
finished.
else should have known
How
about
do you?
it.
Don't worry about how I know.
cut him off.
1 million for exclusive ownership of the
Plus
algorithm.
a 5-year contract after you graduate.
Deal. Jianle's
He
eyes
glanced at
turned
the harsh red light
Then
above the
at the
ER.
card on
a
the floor.
vein pulsed
1
on
second.
the back of
3.
his hand.
Then he
2.
snatched up the card.
His hands shook badly.
From
Deal,
now
young
on, my
Master
life
Lu.
is yours.
I stood up and brushed the dust from
I
my
don't need your
trousers.
life.
I need a mad dog who can make me
Uncle
money.
Fu, bring in the best neurosurgeon in this
Yes,
hospital.
young master.
Half an hour
Jianle's
later,
mother was moved into a private
Jianle
VIP
washed his
ward,
face,
changed into a clean hospital
and
gown,
sat on the
left at
sofa
nurse's
outside
station.
From his
room.
worn black backpack, he pulled out an old Dell laptop.
Clear tape still clung to the edge
Young
of the
Master
screen.
Lu,
This is the
take a look.
algorithm's initial
tapped a few
architecture.
keys.
The screen lit
And
up, dense code poured down like a
I
waterfall.
only glanced at the project name.
In the upper left corner,
In that
Project Horizon.
instant,
The air seemed to freeze.
I stared at the screen,
my fingers tapping the leather armrest.
Wait, this code was far too familiar.
Before Su Wangqi
in my
received
last
life
mysterious round
and
of
became
venture
a rising
funding,
star in
she
tech
claimed
overnight.
it was core technology
had
her
built
team
through countless
and the
sleepless
project
nights. Was called Horizon.
So that was it.
in my last life,
She had stolen Jianle's work and
then
drained him
stepped
dry.
over his
to become
ruined
the
life.
richest
Now the
woman.
goose that laid golden eggs was mine
Just
first.
then,
The phone in my pocket vibrated.
I pulled it out and glanced at the screen.
caller ID read board
I answered.
office. His
Vice
anxious
Principal
voice
Lee.
came through the receiver.
Young Master Lu, I'm sorry
That
to
student
disturb you.
used to support.
Just came to my
Wangqi.
office with a boy
I
and
shifted
caused a
position
scene.
and leaned back on
What
the
kind of
sofa.
scene?
She says
Oh?
she has a trade secret
and
worth
wants
1
the
billion
university
yuan
to
for an
use
angel
its
investment.
phone. She also said that once she becomes
She'll
the
kick you
richest
off the
woman,
board.
I could not help laughing. The window at the end of the hall was not
Night
fully
wind
closed
slipped
and ran
inside
cold down the
a
back of my
billion
neck.
yuan trade
Wasn't that
secret.
sitting in the battered laptop in
All
front of
right.
me? I watched the code flicker
Lowering
on
my
screen.
voice.
Tell her the university is willing to
Young
invest.
Master Lu, you really
and
want
make
to invest?
a huge show of
but
it,
on one condition.
I narrowed my eyes.
Make her sign an unlimited
I'll
personal
provide the money
liability
myself.
performance
Since
agreement.
you wanted to play the chosen
I
heroine,
would build you a trap with
I
no
ended
way
the call.
out. The metal edge of the phone bit into
I looked
my
up at
palm.
Jianle on the sofa.
He was staring at me, his fingers still
Young
hovering
Master
above the
Lu,
keyboard.
what's
I tossed
going on?
the phone
The
onto
Dell
the
thought.
coffee table.
Someone wants to steal your work.
Jianle's face changed.
Relax.
His fists clenching.
I leaned back.
The leather sofa creaked softly.
How long to strip out the core algorithm?
Jianle paused.
Then quickly understood.
If
3
I remove
hours.
the underlying data
What
unlocking
remains
module,
will be a useless
it'll look
shell.
fine, but collapse under real big
I
data.
nodded. Build me that empty shell.
Then wait for her to come to you.
The next afternoon, at Jiang University's
The
startup
second floor
incubator,
VIP
the
observation
air-conditioning
room
was
was
starting.
event roaring with a cold draft.
I sat behind one-way glass,
holding an iced Americano. Condensation slid down
and
the
wet
cup.
my
On the other
fingertips.
side of the glass was the
Su
meeting room.
Wangqi
sat at the
She
head
changed
of
clothes
the
today.
meeting
A Chanel
table,
tweed
paired
jacket with her obviously fake
her
Hermes
chin was
Birkin
raised
like
high,
a proud white
but
swan.
the
jacket clearly did not fit her. It was probably borrowed or rented.
Jianle sat opposite her.
Jianle, I don't have time for
Suwanqing's
nonsense.
voice came through the speaker.
Sharp and openly condescending.
Your project? I'm the only one who understands
1
its
million
value.
yuan for all your core
Just as I had
code.
instructed.
Jianle lowered his head and
1
picked
million
at
is
his
too
trouser
little,
seam.
he said hoarsely. I spent 6 months building this.
Too little. She
Su
slammed
Wenqing
a contract
The
onto
sound
the
came
table
through the microphone.
sharply. This pile of
Can't
junk
even
you
make
wrote.
money
I'm
yet.
the only fool willing to buy it.
Jianle, your mother is in the hospital waiting for
Wenqing
money.
leaned
Her eyes
forward.
gleaming like a venomous
Besides
snake.
me, who can hand you 1 million yuan right now?
Sign and use the money to save your mother.
Refuse and start planning her funeral.
Hearing that, I raised an eyebrow.
My last life, she had used the same
Taking
tactic.
Jianle's life's
Then
work
she
while he was
transformed
desperate.
into the tech world's beautiful
Disgusting.
genius. Jianle's shoulders
This
trembled.
time, he was not
Veins
acting,
bulged across his forehead.
but he held back.
He clenched his
picked
jaw.
up the pen and signed
The money. Jianle's
Su
voice was
Wenqing
ice
smiled
cold
in
in
satisfaction.
She took out
a bank card
and tossed
the
it down.
pin is 6
From
zeros.
now on,
this project has nothing to do
Jianle
with you.
picked
He
up
did
the
not
card,
stay 1
turning
second
and leaving
longer.
the room. Only Su Wenqing and Li Yuxuan
Wenqing,
remained.
are we really spending $1 million
on code we can't even understand?
Shut up. What do you know?
This will be worth 1 billion someday.
Maybe 10
She
billion.
carefully took the USB drive
and gripped
Jianle
it tight,
eyes
burning with obsession,
as if she already held the whole world.
The observation room
A wave
door
of heat
opened
rushed in
before
from
the
hallway.
cold air
A Gui
pushed
walked
it
in
back and handed me a
The
document.
edge of the paper was sharp.
It brushed my
rough
fingertip
against my skin.
Young master,
For
I
that
found
1
out.
million, Su
Her
Wenqing
parents
mortgaged
owed
back
a
in her
then she
hometown
bought it
from brother Hay's
daily
loan
interest
sharks on the west
half
side.
1%.
I opened the file and looked at the borrower's signature. Su
Pressed
Wenqing.
Brother
Hay on the west side? I asked
His
casually.
lending company is
A
indirectly
Gui
controlled
lowered his
by the
voice.
Lu
Ice cubes
Group.
clinked sharply in my cup. So that was it.
She was using money from a
To buy
company I
useless
owned,
code I'd
then
already
planning to
acquired.
scam the university fund
Let's
where I
go.
sat on the board.
I set down my
Time
coffee.
to meet our future richest
I
woman.
left the observation room and crossed the
At
hallway.
the elevator, I ran into Su
and Lin
Wenqing.
Yuxuan,
The
as
bright
they
corridor
came out,
lights were
Su
almost
Wenqing
dizzying.
stopped when she saw me.
She instinctively straightened her
and
back.
tightened her grip
Lu
on the
Chen,
USB drive.
the
She looked at
humiliation
me,
from the hospital was gone,
replaced by condescending pity,
as if she already stood at the top of
while
the pyramid.
I was nothing but an
What are you
ant.
doing here?
Oh, I forgot.
She
You're the
lifted
son
her
of a
chin.
board
Too bad.
member.
The wealth you're so proud
will
of
soon be crushed under my feet.
I stopped.
My shoes
softly
scraped
against the tile.
I looked at her without
See
speaking.
this? She raised the USB drive.
I already hold the key to a new
Vice
era.
Principal Lee has agreed.
If I pass tomorrow's
The
technical
university
test,
fund will give me $5 million
once I
in
use that
angel
money
investment.
to start my
I'll be
company.
ringing the bell in America
And
within
then
6 months.
she stepped closer.
The smell of cheap perfume
Sharp
rushed
and
into my
then
that
nose.
pathetic little fortune of
won't mean a
yours
thing to me. I'll turn that 800,000 into
and
coins.
smash them into
Lin
your
Yuxuan
face.
chimed in.
Did you hear that?
Wenqing is about to become a
Kneel
tech
and
star.
beg us
now.
And maybe she'll leave you a few scraps.
I looked at the two of them,
Fighting the urge to laugh, I raised my wrist and
Is
checked
that
the
so?
time. My voice
All I
stayed
see
calm.
is a rusty key.
What do you mean?
So Wenqing frowned. Nothing.
I slid my hand back into
And
my pocket.
took one
the
step
hallway was
forward.
narrow.
That half step invaded all her space.
She instinctively stepped
her
back.
heel twisting.
She almost
The
fell.
zipper on your fake bag is
I
open.
pointed at it.
Then walked past her
Tomorrow,
toward the
3 p.m.
elevator. The board will
I'll judge
evaluate
it
your
personally.
project.
Su Wenqing, don't disappoint me.
I
Ding.
stepped inside
The
and
doors
turned
are
around.
closing doors.
I watched Su Wenqing lower
To
her
pull the
head
zipper
in
shut,
panic.
that bag held a
and
loan
hollow
shark
out
contract. Just like
code.
her ridiculous rebirth
One gentle
fantasy
pull.
would tear it apart.
3 p.m. Conference Room 1. The
Central
Central
air blew
University
directly
Administration
against my
building.
chill felt sharp as I leaned
In the
back.
wide leather chair, fiddling with a heavy Mont Blanc fountain pen. Around the table
Sat the key members of the board, along with the head of the computer
The
science
solid wood
department.
door
High
opened.
heels struck the floor.
with crisp, rapid clicks.
Su Wenqing walked in.
She wore full makeup today,
the ill-fitting Chanel jacket,
was still draped
and she
over
gripped
her shoulders.
the fake Hermes
Lin
bag
Yuxuan
tightly,
followed,
carrying
seeing
her
me at the
laptop.
head. She stopped. Her eyes widened without thinking.
I ignored her.
I opened the water bottle in front
and
of me,
took a sip.
wetting my dry throat. Begin.
Student Sue, Vice Principal Lee
Everyone
tapped
here
the
is
table.
busy. Where is this world-changing algorithm?
Su
we
Wenqing
promised?
snapped
She took
back
a deep
to
breath,
herself.
walked to the projector, and
Members
inserted
of
the
the Vice
USB
Principal
drive.
Lee,
Her
unable
voice
to hide
rose.
her excitement,
What I'll show you
is the cornerstone of online finance
the
for the next
Horizon
decade.
Data Unlocking
the screen
System.
lit up.
Lines of code began scrolling across the black
Su
interface.
Wenqing launched into
her grand blueprint,
disrupting tradition,
capturing 100 billion yuan
and
mass
ringing the
market.
bell on NASDAQ, one
Lin
slogan
Yuxuan
after
stood
another.
beside
As
her,
if he could already
face
see
flushed.
himself
I
behind the
casually
wheel
dropped
of a
my
supercar
pen
onto
onto
the
landed with a
table.
dull
Su
thud.
Wenqing. Nice
I
business
cut her
plan.
off.
But no one here came for a comedy show.
I turned to the computer science chair.
Director Zhang, is the university
He adjusted
server
his
connected?
thick glasses
and nodded.
ready at any time.
Good.
I pointed at the screen and looked
Run
at
a
Su
300,000
Wangqing.
user
If this is
stress
the foundation
test.
of a
It
100
should
billion
handle
market,
something this small.
Su Wangqing froze.
In her last life, she had only enjoyed
She
the
knew nothing
rewards.
about the code underneath.
300,000, isn't that too much?
This is only an early stage
Her
test.
tongue tied itself in knots. I
She
leaned
did
back
not
and
dare
folded my
run it.
hands.
Then why should I
Fine.
invest 5 million?
Run it.
She refused to
In
admit
her shallow
understanding.
understanding.
If Jianle's work made money in the
It
last
would do
life,
the same in this one.
Director Zhang pressed enter on his
The
computer.
projector's cooling
Suddenly
fan.
roared. Then the code on the big screen accelerated
1 second.
wildly.
2.
A piercing system error tone
Sliced through the silent
the black
room.
and white display.
Instantly became a blinding blue
A
screen.
huge red warning box appeared in
Fatal
the center.
error.
Logic module missing. System
Fatal
crash.
error.
Underlying logic module
System
missing.
crashed.
The room
Only
went
the
deathly
projector fan
silent. Buzzed uselessly. All color drained from Su Wangqing's
She turned
face.
white as paper.
No, that's impossible. Fingers hammering
She lunged
wildly,
at the
making a
keyboard.
frantic clatter.
Is there something wrong with your server?
Yes, it has to be the server. Bang. Director Zhang slammed the table
He pointed
and
at the
stood.
screen.
This is
the
absurd.
code you said was worth $1 billion?
It's nothing but an empty shell.
With a core retrieval
It's worse than an
module
undergraduate
ripped out. The moment it
thesis
touches
project.
real data,
Vice
it
Principal Lee's
crashes.
face
He
turned
turned
dark.
toward me.
Sweat beading on his forehead.
We were deceived
Young Master
too.
Lu.
I ignored him and stood.
I straightened my jacket.
My shoes
As I
struck the
walked
wooden
step
floor.
by step
Her whole
towards
body
Su Wangqing.
trembled.
She stared at the blue screen,
Lips shaking, unable to speak.
I bent down and lowered my voice.
so only the three of us could hear.
Madam Richest Woman, your
Lin
Nasdaq dream
Yuxuan
is
rushed
dead. over and shielded
Chen,
Su
did you
Wangqing.
do this?
Did you buy off
Or
Jianlei?
make
him sell Wang Kuang fake
I did not
code?
even look at him.
Uncle Fu, he stepped out from the corner.
Call the police, I said
Student
calmly.
Su Wangqing is suspected of using fake technical
attempt to
results
defraud
the university fund of
5
5
million
million
yuan.
yuan.
How many
years does that
Let
carry?
legal calculate it.
Su Wangqing's knees
She
went
collapsed onto the floor.
No, Lu Chen, you can't call the police.
I didn't commit fraud. I was deceived too. She
Tears
finally
washed
panicked.
streaks through her
I did not
foundation.
look at her again. I turned and walked toward the door.
Young Master Lu,
One King screamed
the door
behind
closed
me,
at my back, shutting her voice inside.
10 minutes later,
I sat in the Maybach below the
air
administration
conditioning was
building,
perfect.
and the car carried a faint cedar scent.
Young master, the collectors
Uncle
have arrived.
Fu sat in the
Watching the
passenger
rear
seat.
view
I lowered
mirror.
the window halfway.
My gaze passed over
and
the flower
settled
bed.
on the
Su
administration
Wangqing
entrance.
and Lin Yuxuan, like
were
beaten
thrown out
dogs.
by
Her papers
security,
scattered everywhere,
and dust smeared her Chanel jacket.
Before they could steady
Three
themselves,
broad men
in black jackets strode straight over
and blocked them on the steps.
They were the West Side loan sharks.
Monsieur,
That code you used as collateral.
we just had an expert
It's
examine
garbage.
it.
The leader chewed his gum. You trying
You
to play
borrowed
us?
$1 million against fake collateral.
I'll return the $1 million right now.
Su Wangqing shrieked in
and
fear.
fumbled through her bag for the bank
Return
card.
$1 million?
The man
And spat
spat
on the ground.
Your
Fraud
fraud
triggered.
contract.
The accelerated repayment clause and doubled
Principal
the
and
penalty.
interest, pay it
$3 million
right now.
$3 million hit Su
Like a
Wangqing.
hammer that shattered her spine.
I don't
have it. Give me a few days. No money? The man grabbed the bag on her shoulder. Yet you're carrying a 300,000
We'll take this against the
He
desk.
yanked hard.
Su Wangqing clung to the bag.
It's mine.
No.
Rip.
A loud tearing
Echoed
sound.
across the empty plaza.
The Hermes handle was ripped clean
The
off.
cheap synthetic leather tore
and
open.
several chunks
of scrap metal
the
used
gold
as weight
plastic
fell
clasp
out.
flew through
Hit
the
the
air.
concrete and broke in half.
Suddenly, everything
The
went
leader
silent.
stared at the
A faded
half-strip.
fake leather
He
in
laughed
his
in
hand.
furious
It's take two.
disbelief. 3 for
What the
100?
hell? Students passing by stopped.
They pointed
Some
and
even
whispered.
pulled out their phones to record.
Isn't that
Su Wangqing, the finance
Compass
department's
Bell. She carries a
campus
fake bag.
I
and
heard she
pretends to
also
be
used
rich
a
every
fake
day.
project
Those
to scam the
whispers
university. Stopped into Su Wangqing's
She covered her
ears
face,
like
crouched
needles.
down, and sobbed.
Then Yuxuan stood
White
beside
as a
her.
sheet. Kid,
Hey,
are you her
the
boyfriend?
collector grabbed Lin Yuxuan by
She
the
owes
collar.
$3
You pay
million.
it. Lin Yuxuan shuddered. The next second, he did something
No one expected.
He shoved the man away,
Whirled around.
and faced Su Wangqing.
Then he slapped her
still
hard.
slouched on the ground.
The sound
Su
rang
Wangqing
out,
fell to
blood
the ground.
instantly appearing
She
at the
covered
corner
her
of her
face in
mouth
disbelief
and stared at the man she'd adored in her
Lin
last
Yuxuan,
life.
You
Lin
lying
Yuxuan
bitch.
pointed at her and
His
cursed.
face
red with rage.
I knew something was
Your
wrong
loan
with
shark
you.
debt has nothing
Don't
to
drag
do with
me
me
into this.
He
He
shoved
shoved
through
through
the
that
crowd.
and fled like a coward. I watched the farce from the car, tapping the leather seat with my fingertips,
Dogs tearing each
but
other
not
apart.
enough.
The 3 million
Entertaining.
yuan debt was only the beginning.
No, she still had to see with
truly
her own
built the
eyes
Rome
she had always dreamed of. Uncle Fu,
drive back to the company.
I raised the window.
The car glided smoothly out of
Su
campus.
Wanqing
Sat collapsed
surrounded by
phones pointed
By
at
tomorrow
her.
morning,
She would have nowhere left to turn.
Except
to the only person in the city who could produce
and
3
in my
million.
company's lobby,
A special gift would be waiting for her.
9 a.m.
Top floor of Lu Group
The
headquarters.
coffee machine
in my office hissed, filling the air with the rich bitterness of espresso. I lifted my mug and stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, watching Zhang Cheng's
like
morning
ants.
rush. Boss, the core architecture has been rebuilt.
It handled 1 million concurrent requests
Jianle's
perfectly.
voice came from
He
behind
wore a
me.
dark,
Tailored designer suit.
His
hair was perfectly
If
styled.
not for the faint red veins.
Still in his eyes, no one would believe that
He'd been
yesterday.
beaten
outside an emergency
Capital's
room. makeover worked fast. I sipped my coffee.
Bitterness
Spread
about the
across
bake
my
code?
as you ordered. I embedded it tracking
If anyone
Trojan.
tries
to force a repair
it
of
will
the
lock
core
the
device's physical drive. Jianle adjusted his new
His eyes hard
gold-rimmed
and
glasses.
cold.
The desk phone suddenly rang. I pressed speaker. President Liu, there's a Miss Sue at reception. She says she's your fiancé and
Security
is demanding
can't
to
stop
see
her.
her. Sitting on the lobby
receptionist
turnstile
sounded
crying.
nervous.
My fiancé? I set down my mug. Porcelain clicked against the glass tabletop. She really knew how to flatter
Call off
herself.
security.
I pulled out a tissue and wiped my hands. Have her
Let her
wait in
in.
the first floor lounge. I'll
Yes,
come down
President
myself. The elevator dropped
weightless
quickly.
feeling
tightened my
Ding.
stomach. First floor. The lobby air conditioning
The moment
was
I
strong.
stepped out,
I immediately
saw
Su Wanqing on a leather sofa. She looked worse than a drowned rat. Messy hair clung to her cheeks. Her eyeshadow had smeared
And
into
one
black
heel was
circles.
broken.
She limped toward me.
Lu Chen,
You finally agreed to see
She reached
me.
for
my sleeve. I stepped back half a
appeared
pace
from
and
the
blocked
side.
her like a wall. Su Wanqing crashed into his
Bounced
shoulder,
back with
and
the
fell
front.
onto the mirror-polished
Lu
marble
Chen,
floor.
save me.
Ignoring the pain, she crawled over and grabbed Gui's
The
trouser
loan
leg.
sharks
came to my dorm
They
last
threatened
night.
to throw paint
My advisor
everywhere.
says I'm
Lend
going
me
to be
3 million.
expelled.
No.
5 million. Just help me through this. I'll pay you back double. I looked at her. My eyes fell to her mud-covered
The lobby
floor had just been cleaned. Pay me back double. Now
My
it was
voice
dirty.
stayed calm.
That
With
empty
what?
shell of code that crashes on
Su
startup.
Wanqing
went rigid. She snapped her head
Even
up.
in
her bloodshot eyes, a ridiculous trace of superiority. That was an
remained.
accident. Zhang University's server
You don't understand
was
what
garbage.
that algorithm
will be worth. She gritted her veins
teeth.
bulging in her neck. I know countless future
As long as I have
opportunities.
starting
All
capital,
Jiang Cheng's
Lu
richest
Chen, helping me
is
now.
investing in an entire
I almost
business
laughed.
empire. Even now, she was still dreaming she was Destiny's
then,
chosen
the knock
heroine.
of high heels
echoed down the hallway, mixed with the steps of
President
dress
Liu.
shoes. The tech department's morning meeting
Jianle
materials
held
as
her
he walked
height.
over from the elevator
Behind
followed
him.
several department heads
Su
carrying
Wanqing
folders.
instinctively turned
The moment
at the
their eyes
sound.
met, she froze.
She
stared at Jianle in
and
his
luxury
custom
watch,
suit, mouth slightly
unable
open.
to say a word.
Jianle, as if she thought she
rubbed her
was
eyes.
hallucinating. Why are you
Hallucinating.
here? Why are you dressed like
Su
that?
Wanqing jumped up from
and
the
pointed
floor.
at him. Did you spend that entire
What about your
million on
mother?
Jianle
Clothes?
stopped. He did not even look at Su Wanqing
walked straight
properly
to me.
and bowed slightly. The new
President Liu
generation
has
has
passed
passed
our
our
1
1 million
Here is the
concurrency
report.
He handed me the
test.
tablet. I took it and flipped through it.
Su Wanqing.
shrieked like a cat whose tail had
What
been
Tian
stepped
Wen?
on.
That's my horizon.
Jianle, how dare you sell my project
You
to
signed
the
a
Lu
buyout
Group.
contract.
She lunged for the tablet
guards
in my hand
reacted
and lifted her
instantly.
off the floor from both
Let me
sides.
go.
That's mine. I'm the future richest
How
woman.
dare
you, security guards! She
touched
kicked
me.
wildly. Her remaining high heel flew
and
off
hit the glass door.
I handed the
and walked
tablet
up
to
to
a
her.
cold air blew across
Yet
my
the
body.
lobby
still felt filthy.
Yours?
I looked at her twisted face. Jianle, tell her what her 1 million actually
Jianle
bought.
adjusted
the
his
lenses
glasses.
reflected the
Miss
cold
Sue,
light
what you
overhead.
bought?
Was only an unlocking shell
It
I
doesn't
wrote
even
for fun in my
qualify as a
freshman year.
prototype.
The real core system was exclusively licensed to the Lu Group last week. As for that 1 million, Jianle
His
paused.
tone completely flat.
I never even activated the card.
In front of the collectors,
I threw it straight into the hospital
Su
shredder.
Wanqing
looked as if
She
lightning
instantly
had struck her.
stopped struggling.
Impossible. Her face
She muttered.
ashen. Last life, it was
He
clearly
clearly
got
this.
rich with this. Her
But
voice
I heard
was quiet.
every word.
Last life? I rubbed the cuff of my
So,
suit. This idiot really had
Too bad her
been
brain had
reborn.
not been reborn with
The
her.
tens of billions in resources
all been
I
mistaken
poured
for
into
her own
her last
talent.
life. It's time to
I
wake
looked
up. down at her. One more thing. I am the real owner of that West Side lending company.
Su Wanqing snapped her head up.
pupils shrank to
That
pinpoints.
rundown apartment you
Triggered
mortgaged
the because you are
enforcement clause.
suspected of fraud.
At 8 this morning,
Court officers went
I
to
watched
seal
her
it
expression collapse piece
and delivered
by
the final
piece.
blow.
Oh,
right. See that car with flashing lights outside? I pointed through the glass
Two
wall. Uniformed offices opened
and
car
strode
doors.
toward the Lu
Vice
Group
Principal
entrance.
Lee filed a report
You're suspected
yesterday.
of defrauding
and
the
the amount
university
is
fund.
exceptionally Save your richest
large.
woman dream for prison? The doors opened. Hot air rushed into
Cold
the lobby.
handcuffs
flashed.
In the morning sun, as they came straight for
The metal
Su
cuffs
Wanqing,
closed.
with a crisp click, the lobby suddenly felt even colder,
making everyone's hair stand on end.
I was really deceived. 2 female officers seized Su Wanqing from
struggled
both
backwards.
sides. Her cheap Chanel jacket was pulled out
and
of shape.
slid to the floor.
No one listened to her screams.
The officers showed the detention
and dragged
order.
her toward
As
the
she
door.
passed me,
She grabbed
desperately
at the stainless steel door frame. Her nails scraped across
with
the
a
metal.
piercing screech.
Lu Chen, you set me up. This was all your trap. Her eyes were bloodshot.
Like a gambler who had lost
She
everything.
glared at me.
What do you know?
The ideas in my head are priceless. If you won't
Plenty of
invest,
others will.
When I get out,
I'll repay today's humiliation.
1,000 times over.
I looked at her twisted
and
face
felt
no desire to argue.
I raised my hand
and waved it lightly,
as if clearing some foul smell from the air. Uncle Fu, disinfect the lobby and tear up this marble tile and replace it today.
Yes, young master.
We're
Su
shoved
Wanqing
into the
screamed.
police car.
Siren wailed.
Red and blue lights cut through the morning sun
and slowly disappeared.
I turned toward my private elevator.
President Liu, Jian Lei
if the
followed
poor
behind
algorithm
me.
stays
We can hold
on
a launch
schedule
early next month
and sees market share across
Speed it
Southeast
up.
Asia. I watched the elevator numbers climb. Erase every trace of the old
Not
codename
one
Horizon.
character can
It's
remain.
too dirty.
Understood.
6 p.m.
I finished the documents
and rubbed
on my
my
desk.
aching brow. I took the elevator down to the underground
It was very
garage.
quiet.
Only the exhaust fans hummed. The air carried the faintly sweet smell
Uncle
of
Fu
gasoline
had already
and
opened the
antifreeze. I was about to
Maybach's
bend down
rear
and
door
get in. Behind a nearby
A dark
support
figure
pillar,
young
suddenly
Master Liu
rushed out. Ugly
Wait.
reacted. He hit the figure in
instantly.
the side of the knee.
Thud.
The man screamed and crashed
Rolling
onto the
twice
concrete
until he stopped at my
under
feet.
the garage's dim
I saw
lights.
his face.
It was
He
Ling
wore
Yuxuan.
a
Wrinkled white shirt. His hair pasted to his forehead with
And
sweat. His face still bore yesterday's red.
Handprint.
What are you doing here? A gui pinged his
Knee
shoulder.
pressed into his back.
It's
young
me,
Master Liu.
Ling Yuxuan.
I'm
here to switch
Ling
sides.
Yuxuan grimaced in pain,
Clawing at the patch of ground before my shoes.
and raised
that
his
crazy
head.
woman Su Wanqing
It
was
has
arrested.
nothing to do with me.
I swear I tried to stop her the whole time. She insisted on starting a company
I looked
and scamming
down
money
at that pathetic face.
In my last life, he had worn the same pitiful
to
expression.
coax Su Wanqing
He
into
kept
spending
claiming
my
he
money
was
on
her
him,
true love.
while I was just an ATM reeking
You
of
came here
money.
just to tell me that? My voice turned cold.
And no. Ling Yuxuan swallowed hard.
His Adam's apple bobbing.
About the
Young
60,000
Master Liu.
yuan a month
Could that continue?
you used to
I'm not
provide.
picky. 30,000.
Even 10,000
As
is
long as you
fine.
give me money,
I'll be your dog.
I'll bite whoever you tell me to.
He
desperately declared
With
his
no
loyalty.
and no
I
dignity.
could not help letting out a
It
quiet
echoed
laugh through the empty garage.
Sharply
My
out
dog.
of place.
I
stepped back half
Are
a
you
pace.
even worthy? His
I
expression
turned toward
froze.
Uncle Fu.
Did you bring the contract for the West Side
Yes,
debt?
young master.
Uncle Fu pulled a copy from his briefcase.
Bent down and dropped it beside Lin Yuxuan's face.
The paper scraped across
with a
the
dry
concrete.
rustle. Mr. Lin, look at the signature.
Uncle Fu adjusted his
His
gold-rimmed
tone as
glasses
flat
as
as
ever,
Yuxuan twisted his head
using the dim light
to read the loan shark contract. Borrower Su Wanqing, and at the bottom, below emergency
In the joint
contact,
guarantor
3
section,
characters were clearly signed.
Lin
Yuxuan with a bright red
No,
fingerprint.
this isn't real.
Lin Yuxuan's face turned deathly
Like a dead
pale,
fish
dragged from the water.
I was only an emergency contact.
Wanqing said it was just
and
a
told me to
formality.
sign How did I become the guarantor?
Joint and several
I
guarantor.
repeated the words. They sounded wonderful.
It means Su Wanqing is in jail.
Her apartment has been
and
seized.
every cent of the debt now falls on you.
The penalty doubled.
$3 million in total.
Until we were
I
at
bent
eye
down.
level.
You wanted 60,000 a month
Fine.
for pocket money.
Pay off this $3 million debt first.
Then maybe I'll pay you. Lin Yuxuan's pupils trembled
Suddenly
violently.
he had fallen
into an
he
abyss.
could never climb out
Lu
of.
Chen, you can't do this.
This is a predatory
I'll sue
loan.
you. He struggled like a madman.
Agui pressed down
shoving
harder,
his face
back onto the rough concrete. The ground scraped open his cheekbone,
and blood began to
Soon
seep
I
out. I straightened up and adjusted
Go
my
ask the
cuff.
court.
Whether a sign showing guarantee
is legally enforceable.
As for the London company, it operates
stays
legally.
just inside
could you
the red
sue?
line.
I turned and got
Agui,
into the car.
Throw him
and
out.
called Brother Hay on the
Tell
west
them
side.
the guarantor is right here.
If he can't repay it, his parents can.
Understood. The car
The
door
Maybach
slammed
glided
shut.
out of the underground
In the
garage.
rearview mirror.
Lin Yuxuan's desperate
Were
screams
torn apart by the roar of the
and
exhaust
swallowed
fans.
completely
3
by
days
the
later,
darkness.
in the visiting room of Zhangcheng
There was only a
No. 1
cold metal
detention
white
center,
light overhead buzzed
and the
faintly.
air reeked of disinfectant.
Through
thick, reinforced
I
glass.
watched the metal door opposite me
Agar
open.
brought Su Wanqing
When
out.
she saw me sitting there,
She froze.
then
A sick, manic excitement
she
exploded
lunged
in her
toward
eyes
the
and
glass.
snatched up the phone. Lu Chen, I knew you'd
I
come.
knew you couldn't let me go.
Her
cracked lips trembled
Her
with
voice came
excitement
through the
mixed
receiver.
with heavy breathing.
Quick, pay my bail. Once I'm out,
Just give me another round of
I'll
startup
obey you.
money.
Then you'd like me.
I won't act
I'll be your
proud
girlfriend.
anymore.
I said nothing. I only leaned back and watched her quietly, watching that disgusting pose of
She
generosity. She was
believed.
some priceless treasure. If she cut the price,
People should be grateful to take
I picked
her.
up the receiver,
My fingers rubbing the plastic
Wanqing.
shell.
The food in detention
My voice
must
was
be awful.
softened.
She paused,
panic flickering in her eyes.
What do you mean?
Did you bring the money
I
or
did.
not?
With my other hand,
I
I
lifted
pressed
the
it
document
against
This
the
is
reinforced
prosecutor's
glass.
charging recommendation.
Looking into her eyes, I read it
Su
slowly.
Wan-ting is suspected of
Attempted
contract
but
fraud,
unsuccessful.
given her terrible attitude
and complete lack
The
of remorse.
prosecution recommends 3 years.
Like a cat whose
Impossible.
tail had
She
been
pounded
stepped on.
wildly on the glass.
I didn't commit
I
fraud.
really have the technology.
I was reborn.
I was the richest woman
That
before.
code is mine.
Quiet. The guard
Sit
behind
down.
her barked harshly.
Su Wangqing was forced
Her
back
chest
into the
heaved
chair,
tears and
violently.
mucus covering her
Reborn?
face. I gave a soft laugh into the
Right,
phone.
if you weren't reborn. How would you know the name Horizon?
How would you know Jianle would become a tech genius?
Su Wanqing went
She
completely
stared at me
still,
in
disbelief.
eyes so wide they seemed ready to fall out.
How do you know I was reborn?
I leaned closer to the glass. How do you think you became the richest woman in your last life?
Was it your brilliant business
your extraordinary
instinct?
management
I used
skills
tens of
and every
billions
connection the
to
Lu group
force
had?
that empire
I lowered
into
my voice.
existence
Every
for
word
you.
was like
a poisoned blade driven into her ears.
every data system you
I
crashed.
paid experts to
Every
repair.
powerful person
I
you
humbled
offended.
myself to apologize
Even your
to.
so-called genius code
Was something I bought outright
and
from
released
Jianle.
under your name. Su Wanqing, without
You
me,
are worth less than a
through the
stray
glass.
dog.
I clearly watched
Pupils
Su Wanqing's
contract violently.
Her mouth
as she
fell
gasped
open.
for air.
Meaningless choking sounds
In
came
that
from
moment,
her
destiny
throat.
she was so proud of
collapsed.
You too.
Exactly. She
I
finally
released the
understood.
phone and dropped
Enjoy
it
your
onto the
3 years
cradle.
in
When you
there.
come out,
That 3 million yuan loan
and
will
Ling
have kept
Yushuan
growing.
will be
That
waiting for you
bloodsucker.
outside.
I stood, straightened my collar,
and turned toward the
behind
door.
me.
Su Wanqing let out
one piercing
followed
scream.
by guards rushing to restrain
I knew
her.
her hell had only just begun,
And my
business empire was only now raising its curtain.
Rain poured outside.
Drops hammered the bulletproof glass
creating
in my
a
top floor
dense,
office.
dull wall
I
of
leaned
white
back in my
noise.
leather chair, turning a solid silver Zippo lighter in my
The
hand.
cold
metal edges pressed against my fingertips.
Click.
A blue flame rose, reflected in
Flickering
the window.
across my
I did not
eyes.
smoke. I simply watched the flame
Then
dance.
snapped the
the
lid
office
shut.
door opened. Cold air slipped through the gap, raising goosebumps on my arms.
Agui entered
With
first.
Jianle
Neither
behind
looked
him.
happy.
Young master. Agui stopped
And
at
bowed
my
slightly.
desk. West Side debt has been cleared. My hand froze around the lighter.
I looked up at him.
Lin Yushuan still owed $3
That's
million.
impossible.
His parents are farmers back home.
Even selling blood would not
he
raise
didn't
it.
pay it. Agui placed a transfer receipt
Half an hour
on the desk.
ago.
Someone wired $3 million directly into
note
Brother
said,
Hay's company account.
clear
To
Lin
receipt.
Yushuan's
The paper
debt,
was slightly
carrying the
damp.
bitter smell of printer
Payer,
ink.
Shan Capital. I tossed it back onto the
So
desk.
it's him.
In my
Shen
last
Yichen.
life, after Su Wanqing
That was the man
climbed
beside
over
her.
me
Fought
to the
me
top
at
and
every
eventually
turn
joined
to
forces
destroy
with
Su
Su in the
Wanqing.
capital markets. President Liu. Jianle
His voice
adjusted his
tense.
slipping
That's not all.
glasses. I just detected a sudden flood of targeting
Online
our
attacks.
algorithm.
He handed me the tablet.
The screen glowed harsh
The
white.
headlines were bold,
black and deliberately
bloodthirsty, and
inflammatory.
inflammatory.
Air steals research.
Drives poor.
Female genius
Seizing
insane.
Cortac.
The dirty deal
Campus
behind
belle
an elite
boyfriend
university.
nearly
Killed by loan sharks. The
I
shocking
quickly
truth.
scrolled.
The photos were extremely
One
clear.
showed
Su Wanqing
being
in
pushed
handcuffs.
into a
Another
police
was
car.
garage surveillance footage
Lin
from last
Yushuan
night.
kneeling in
bloody.
despair.
The crop was clever.
Agui was completely removed.
Only Lin Yushuan's small, helpless
Beside the
figure
cold front
remained.
of
Paid
the
trolls
Maybach.
have
The
entered the
topic
game.
reached
the top 3 trends in 10
Jianle
minutes.
swallowed.
His Adam's
And
apple
Shen
moving.
Capital
issued a public statement. Tomorrow at 10 a.m.
They'll
hold a press conference at the
They
Intercontinental
claim they'll
Hotel.
expose the tech
Capital
industry's
scandal.
biggest
Seek justice for the victims. After listening, I picked up the
Click.
lighter again. The flame
I
returned.
watched the
blue fire and smiled.
Shen Yichen.
You got used to eating ready-made
Why are you
victories
so
in our last
impatient
life.
with
Once
this
Su
one?
Wanqing
You pulled
was
Lin
jailed
Yushuan, that homeless
and
dog.
used him as a weapon. You want to destroy my reputation
and
in
sabotage
public.
Tianyuan's
President Liu
launch
PR
at the
is
same
already
time.
suppressing
But the
Shen
trend
family keeps
won't
pouring money
drop.
into
Jianle
it.
looked
Cold
at me.
sweat on his forehead.
At tomorrow's press
If
conference,
Lin Yushuan turns
we'll
on
have
us
no
in
way to
public,
explain
nothing
ourselves.
scares a major
Once we're
company
branded as
more
thieves
than
who
a
stole
moral
a
scandal.
poor
Government
student's work.
partnerships and overseas
Don't
funding
suppress it.
will stop
I released
immediately.
the flame
Cancel
went
the
out.
entire PR
Let
budget.
the trend rise.
The higher, the better. Jianle
But he already
froze.
built the stage.
If we don't let him finish the
Wouldn't
show,
that be terribly rude?
I stood and walked to the window. Below, rain blurred the city's neon
Agui,
lights. Find out where Lin Yushuan is staying
Don't
now.
touch him.
Just
Understood.
watch. I turned
Jianle.
around. The entire tech department works
Take
overnight.
those
dozen sets of junk code
and
package them into one impressive
Leave a
looking
back
file.
door.
I
Jianle
instantly understood.
You mean
I did not answer.
I only
checked my watch. 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Intercontinental
Let's bring
Hotel.
young Master Shen a
The
generous
ballroom
gift.
was
Even the camera
terrifyingly
shutters had
silent.
stopped.